October 5th, 1892, the Dalton Gang rode into the town of Coffeyville with a plan no one had ever tried before. 2 banks, at the same time. Bob Dalton, Grat Dalton, Emmett Dalton, and 2 others, Dick Broadwell, Bill Powers. 5 men, looking to make history. But Coffeyville was not the town they remembered. They had lived there once, and even in disguise, people began to look closer. Something felt wrong. Their plan was already breaking apart. The street between the banks was being repaired, so instead of tying their horses out of sight, they left them in plain view. Inside the bank, time slowed. A clerk, thinking fast, told them the vault would not open until 9:30, and outside, the town was waking up. Men moved quietly through hardware stores, through back rooms, grabbing rifles, loading shotguns. No panic, just purpose. Then, the waiting ended. Gunfire broke the silence. Dust and smoke filled the street, heat on heat, shot for shot. For 12 minutes, Coffeyville became a battlefield. When it was over, Bob Dalton, dead. Grat Dalton, dead. Bill Powers, dead. Dick Broadwell, dead. 4 townsmen, also gone. And only 1 man, still breathing. Emmett Dalton, shot, again and again, 23 times, but still alive. He was captured, sent to prison, and after 14 years, walked back into the world, not as an outlaw, but as a man who would spend the rest of his life telling the story of the day they tried to rob 2 banks and never walked out.
They rode in quiet, midday sun. Coffeyville thought they'd already won. Hatch pulled low, guns tucked down. No one knew what was about to go down. 4 men walking side by side, dust on boots, nowhere to hide. 2 banks standing across that street. 1 bold plan, no retreat. They didn't run, not that day. Walked straight in like they owned the place. 2 banks, same time, crossed that line they couldn't unwind. They didn't run. Townfolk watching, something felt wrong. Faces hid, but not for long. A whisper passed from man to man. They ain't right, take a stand. Guns came out from behind the doors. Storefront windows turned to war. Shots rang loud through the street. Dust and fire, heat on heat. They didn't run when it turned around. Didn't break when the shots came down. 1 by 1, they hit the ground. Coffeyville stood its ground. They didn't run. One man crawled through the pain, blood and dust and summer rain. Emmett lived, but not the rest. 4 men gone, laid to rest. A town still stands where it all went down. 2 banks silent in that town, and every soul who saw that day still the guns. When the dust blows their way, they didn't run, they made their stand. But some roads end in a gunman's hand. 2 banks, one last ride, left their names in Coffeyville sky. They didn't run. They didn't run.
Emmett Dalton should have died that day. 23 bullets and still breathing. They locked him away for 14 long years, and the West moved on without him. But in 1907, he walked free, not as an outlaw, not as a gunman, but as a man with a second life. He left the dust behind and headed west, to California. No more banks, no more guns. He built homes, sold land, worked honest days under a different sun. He married the girl he once knew as a boy, Julia. And for the first time, he lived a quiet life. But the past never really lets go. He told his story again and again, in books, in films, on stages. The last man standing, from a gang that never made it out. And in 1931 he went back to Coffeyville, back to the street where it all ended. He stood at their graves, Bob, Grat, and the men who rode beside them, and he left a stone behind. Not for fame, not for legend, for memory. Emmett Dalton died in his sleep in 1937. No gunfire, no dust, just silence. But that day in Coffeyville still echoes. 2 banks, 1 plan, and only one man who ever walked away.